June 21st. More Filipinos are fleeing Israel, with the first batch of 26 overseas Filipino workers expected to arrive home on Monday or Tuesday, says the Department of Foreign Affairs. Department of Foreign Affairs. Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega said that they expect more Filipinos to start availing of the government's repatriation program after it raised Crisis Alert Level 3 in Israel, with the first batch of overseas Filipino workers expected to arrive early next week. Alert Level 3 in Iran was also raised by the DFA on Friday, but DFA Assistant Secretary Robert Ferrer of the Office of Migration Affairs said that there are only a handful, about 9 OFWs, who will be leaving Iran since most of the 1,180 Filipinos there are Iranian residents. The 26 Filipinos would comprise the first batch of repatriates from Israel because they were the ones with valid documentation who initially confirmed their interest to return to the country. The DFA official also assured that the Philippine government will shoulder the expenses for the repatriation of the Filipinos so long as they have the proper documents, such as their passports, to leave the country. We did not yield in the West Philippine Sea, says President Marcos. President Marcos reaffirmed his administration's firm stand on the West Philippine Sea, declaring that the Philippines has never yielded its territory and will continue to defend its sovereignty. Marcos said this after Coast Guard Commodore J. Tariella said the next administration should continue the Marcos policy of asserting the country's maritime rights. In his podcast episode released on Saturday, June 21st, the president said the government did not back down. "We did not yield. We continue to protect the sovereignty of the Republic," he said when asked how he wants history to remember his policy on the disputed waters. "We continue to defend the territory of the Republic, and we continue to protect and defend the people of the Republic," he added. The Philippine Coast Guard readies divers for the recovery of the remains of missing sabungeros at Taal Lake. The Philippine Coast Guard confirmed on Friday, June 20th, that it has mobilized its technical divers for a possible search and retrieval operation at Taal Lake in Batangas, where the remains of the 34 missing sabungeros or cockfighters are allegedly buried. PCG Commandant Admiral Ronnie Gil Gavin instructed the Coast Guard Special Operations Force to coordinate with the Department of Justice, National Bureau of Investigation, and the Philippine Navy for the immediate and strategic deployment of technical divers to verify reports pointing to the lake as a possible burial site connected to the still unsolved disappearance of the cockfighters. If the DOJ needs the expertise of our men and women to confirm or reject this piece of information as part of the case buildup, we will be there, Gavin said. The move came after an accused bared new information on the case. Pagasa warns of continued rains due to the Intertropical Convergence Zone and easterlies. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration on Saturday, June 21st, warned of continued rains in several parts of the country due to the Intertropical Convergence Zone and the easterlies. Pagasa weather specialist Grace Castañeda said cloud formations over the western part of the Philippines are bringing rainy weather to Palawan, Western Visayas, and Mindanao. The State Weather Bureau advised residents in the said areas to take precautions due to potential flooding and landslides. Meanwhile, Castañeda said the easterlies, or warm winds coming from the Pacific Ocean, are also expected to cause thunderstorms in southern Luzon. A week into the war, Israel and Iran trade fire as Europe's diplomatic effort yields no breakthrough. Israel and Iran traded strikes a week into their war on Friday, as President Donald Trump weighed U.S. military involvement, and key European ministers met with Iran's top diplomat in Geneva in a scramble to de-escalate the conflict. But the first face-to-face meeting between Western and Iranian officials in the week-long war concluded after 4 hours with no sign of an immediate breakthrough. To give diplomacy a chance, Trump said he would put off deciding for up to 2 weeks whether to join Israel's air campaign against Iran. U.S. participation would most likely involve strikes against Iran's underground Fordo uranium enrichment facility, considered to be out of reach to all but America's bunker buster bombs. Stay updated with the latest news. Visit our website at www.mb.com.ph or follow us on social media.